You see, education is a thing that comes spontaneously with the child. There is, we call formal education, non-formal education, and I have another education called spontaneous education. In the spontaneous education, it's a very creative way of learning. In fact, instead of imposing our idea on the children, let the children discover their way to understand life, to respond to the life, to live the life, the daily life. Because so far, if you look at education, it seems it didn't give us much. Rather, took away lots of things from us. Slowly, we are incapable in many things. We cannot live together. We cannot make a large family. It's also not possible for us anymore. And it also creating lots of suffering. If you look at young children getting into drugs, extremely lonely. They feel extremely lonely. They don't feel at home. Parents and children are pulling well. And the number of people mentally sick is also increasing day by day, of different kinds, psychosomatic, psychogenic, and all that kind of problems are developing. Not only because they are wrong, because what they are looking for as a human, they don't find it. So because of that, it seems education is not able to deliver to the increasing need of human beings to be human. Very simple. So for that reason, from the very beginning of the babyhood, the child has to have an environment, a conducive, human, compassionate, full of unconditional love, caring, sharing. All these things has to be inculcated, not by imposing on them anything, not by asking them to do something, not adopting another method, but simply be ourselves. Mother, father, sister, brother, grandmother, grandfather, father, everybody around. That will provide lots of education, what education cannot provide. Because education is an industry. It wants to manufacture the mind and heart of the people, those who go to the school. So, if you really want to make a human being, so the real responsibility lies with number one, the society. Number two, the large family, what I say, that family doesn't exist anymore. Number three, the parents. Number four, the people around that place, which people don't meet anymore. They don't play with each other. They don't go to each other. So that also not much available to the children. And moreover, the most important thing is they should be exposed to the nature. Nature, not that we organize every day taking to garden or something. A daily nature. That makes them more creative, more innovative, more things to do. Suppose we can give them some toys, okay? But toys is already manufactured with an idea. But if the child will be given going to the nature, he will or she will try to do something that comes to her spirit, comes to her through her mind. She will try to see a grass, she will play with it. She will say some dirt and soil, a piece of stone, a little water somewhere, all the things, little flower, little, insect like butterfly or, caterpillar, whatever stage it is. So that gives them to see and understand life better. Than the given and imposed life we provide in the creche, in the kindergarten, in the school, in the house, everywhere they are even imposed. And their spontaneity has been killed consciously. Because we want to manufacture an industrial product, not a human being. So they don't have childhood or babyhood. Now, when a mother or the parents, number one, because of small family, people are always busy for something else, then the life of the child is not important for them. They think it is important, and what importance is? Okay, give the milk right time, take to the doctor to check, right? And if he cries, give suppositor or something to calm him down, or give some chocolate or some toys. Never, we don't want to feel the person. What is his or her need? What the baby wants? So we always bribe them most of the time. And when we cannot bribe, we try to put them to sleep. So in this way, we deny life to them. We deny their capacity to develop. We deny them to react and act in the situation. Because we always want they have to do what the so-called society wants from them. What the parents perceive about the society, they totally impose on the child. So child's energy from the childhood, from the babyhood is already blocked. So they feel distant from life. They feel distant from the parents. So latter age, when they grew up, they go to drugs. They don't feel at home with the parents much. They want to hang out somewhere else, do other dirty things. It's not because they want to do dirty things. Because whenever there's a lack of unconditional love in the heart of the child, that continues in the latter stage, in adult stage. And he will never feel settled, never feel happy, never feel secure. Any little bit of challenge, any little bit uncertainty will surface in his situation, in his environment. He will try to escape. He'll always look for some exciting stuff instead of being finding the calmness, the peace, the harmony within him, within her. She will look somewhere else, which will provide them a little excitement, somebody's company. That doesn't mean you don't have to have company. I'm not saying against it. What I'm saying is we don't really long for it. Longing means something lacking, something I don't have. That is a poverty, pure poverty. So what we do, we have the richness, especially in the Western world, but we make our children purely poor, totally poor. They're obsessed, they're hungry, they don't know how to be themselves. Because from the childhood, we make them how to become something else, something else, something else. And then what happens, they very quickly lose their childhood. So they started to behave like their parents. They started to try to know more about what they're not supposed to know. Instead of giving the free time so that they grow in their way, in their own pace, in their own environment, as per their capacity, we want to always, push them forward. Push them as much we can. So in this way, child is losing his or her capacity to become spontaneous, to become creative, become all these things happens. And when a child lives in a creche or in a kindergarten lots of time, he or she doesn't have the human warmth. It's a very important element. He doesn't have that. And if you ask the parents, why you do so? Why you are leaving the child in the creche? Why you are living in the kindergarten? The answer is, I have to work. Oh, I have other passion. I have other activities. And for whom this money is needed? If the child have no right to become a child, what these parents will do with this money? And often they say, I have now a child, so I need more money. Why these parents don't work before, save enough money before they bring a child? Why the children are denied to be with their own society, with their own friends of that age, or little up and down, higher or lower age? Why they are not allowed to mix with everybody in the family? They don't have any grandparents around, they don't have great-grandparents around, they're nobody. So they grew up with an environment of denial. environment of deprivation. What is that deprives? Deprives the creativity, spontaneity, ingenuity, genuinity, because the child learn how to become. Child learn how to put mask in the society. And he thinks this is very important to have a mask. So that way, the child is losing all this very, very, most important, most needed aspect of childhood. As I say, spontaneity, creativity, ingenuity, facing the challenges. Child has to cry, child has to fight with somebody, child has to compete, child has to do everything with others. And we insulate them. We grow them like in a glass house. You have to touch and feel the nature, the dirt, the everything. Not organized by the parents. So many times you'll see some things are organized by parents and children go there. The parents take or send whatever they do. So that's not the way. The child has to organize himself. Spontaneously, whatever he feels. He has to play with the nature. Not an organized nature by the parents. Whatever nature exists around him, whatever is available, you can take to a forest, to woods or garden, that's fine. But let him do it. The more and more we give the organized things, we kill the spirit of the child to be a child. So what cost it is? At what cost the child is losing all that? His own life is at risk. Because he doesn't know how to respond in different situations. He doesn't know. He always meets the people who are already organized. It's like a theater. Complete organized theater. Because school, the teacher, there is a curricular system. In a creche, there is a curriculum. In a kindergarten, there is a curriculum. There is always some kind of entertainment is going. If you give more and more entertainment, if you bribe the child with excitement, either it's a chocolate or a toy or whatever, or a music, whatever you do. So child becomes dependent on the excitement. And when he doesn't find the excitement, or she doesn't find the excitement, she feels nervous. She feels something not there for me. I don't get something. The sense of satisfaction, sense of being here now is not there. It's not there with him. So he'll look around here, there, he'll go for this, go for that. Maybe this friend will help me, I'll be happy there. If I take these drugs or this, I take this, way of addiction, it will help me. So all these things he does consciously because he's not feeling well at his heart or her heart. He feels something always missing. Always. And that sense has to go. And that can only go when there are committed, real parents and a large family around. Then also you have to have the society around. If you live an individualistic life, he will never get it. He will be afraid in living with the people. He may visit a community, he may visit a school, he can go there. But if you allow him to stay, after a few days, he will not feel comfortable there. So, we are creating a sense of fear, sense of distance, sense of division all the time. And then another thing comes, he always thinks me, me, me. I am for me. Nobody around. And then when even they marry, when they're adult, with all consideration, knowing each other very deeply, very closely, they may be meeting 5 years, after that they decide they will marry, even that will not work. Because the distance is already embedded in the heart and mind of the child. He'll feel nervous. He'll feel, when I was, when it's an unconscious thing, or when I was a child, when I was crying or I'm complaining, my parents always provide me some entertainment, some excitement, something to eat, something they give. Why this girl or this boy doesn't give me that what I want? They will starve for emotion all the time. And their mind get, totally conditioned because they're manufactured by this way, by the creche, by the school, by all these things. So the human warmth that makes us human, compassionate, peaceful, harmonious, we feel stable. So all these things slowly will go away. He will see lots of torture happening in the world, war or terror happening. He will not be sensitive to it. He may say one or two words or talk about it, but he will not really feel in his heart because he never lived that life. Death, okay, some people are killed or some murder, it's okay, everything fine. They will hear and pass by. They will not really take it to their heart. And when the challenge will come, they'll escape. For example, now children don't know what is death. Most of the time they don't know what is sickness. How to deal with the sickness. Or sickness, it's a hospital. The problem is the hospital, not the people. So when somebody got a little bit sick and they're very nervous, so immediately call this number. In such a very small thing also they cannot attend. They cannot do much. Call the hospital because they're incapable. We made them incapable. When there's old people, for example, because of lack of love and responsibility in the childhood, so if the parents go old and something, they don't want to keep them with them. They cannot. They put them in old age home because there is no belongingness. There is no love for them. So they don't feel much. The only thing, okay, give money. Say maximum, if the pension, the social system is not supporting these people and they don't have enough pension, sometimes they just give money or visit as a kind of visitors. There is no longing. There is no belongingness to each other. That's how you make war, terror, and all this happens in the world. We don't feel another human being also like me. He has same right, same privilege, same way to live. Who I am to kill somebody else? That never comes into our consideration. So that also makes us very, like an insect living in a cocoon. We walk, we talk, but we live in our own prison, in our own cell, which we create, which I got children get it from their parents. You understand? So this is how it works. So it's very vital that the child has to live with the family. When I say family, few generations together, not nucleus one only. There has to be around them. Somebody laughing, somebody crying, somebody fighting, somebody challenging. He has to also understand what is uncertainty. He has to get socially in the family, get the real spontaneous training. What is vulnerability? How to live in vulnerability? Always in the challenge. Because life brings challenge every moment. Even the girl or the boy you love most and get married, he or she will also challenge you. They will challenge each other. When one has another opinion, another has another opinion, and one want to do another way, so all this will come. So every child has to learn spontaneously, automatically in the society, in the large family. What is that? Suppose you leave them in the creche, what happens? There's a pattern fixed. At this time they'll eat, at this time they'll play with these games. So the teachers are trained in a particular way. They will give that particular style of interaction activities, what they already learned. So child doesn't have the time and energy to, he doesn't want to play, he can sit. He doesn't want to do something now, he can try that, whatever he likes. No. Oh, it's 9 o'clock, I have to go to office, I have to leave my child which is 6 months old, 2 months old. I leave and go. Children even don't share the same bed with the parents. So we throw them out from our heart, out from our feelings. So although by instinct we like to have a baby, for a social image we want to have a baby, social status we want to have a baby, but very few bring a baby with unconditional love that doesn't expect anything in return, doesn't have to exhibit anything, doesn't have to prove anything. Many women, they feel miserable because everybody has child, I don't have child. Competition, social competition, social, I should appear nice and I'm a full-fledged woman, I see, I did this. No, that should not be the consideration at all. Because we have so many ways to now organize ourselves better. We can take time, we organize ourselves, money, everything, our health, everything ready. We go for it and we go for it 100%. If we cannot make our babies and children human, so it not only the parents suffer, but the future generation will continue to suffer, and more and more. Suppose you look at maybe 50 years ago, large number of marriages used to last. Now most of the marriages don't last. Why? What is wrong with us? There must be something wrong. So you can see it is coming from the society, it's coming from the family, it's coming from the so-called organized education, which is incapable to deliver to the needs of a growing child to become a global citizen. You don't give them anything on that. You will study, you go to work, you get money, that's it. But that is not called life, that's survival. How to survive, we learn. And this survival also restrict a lot. So because of restriction, what happens more? Many people become, either very extroverted or extremely introverted. Many children I know that many adults also, they don't want to meet anybody. They don't want to go anywhere. They don't have any access to the society. In the other hand, some people are so miserable when they are alone. They always want a company, always somebody's attention, somebody's appreciation, all the time. If they don't have, they feel very miserable. Then they go to many different courses, seminars. There also, sometime for a while they have a new idea, new talk, new something that inspires something them, and then after some time it dies. And next day, after 1 week or 2 weeks, they need another course with another person, another idea, just to keep on. So there is no filtration, there is no inculcation, there is no real learning happening. It's just like a train passing by from platform to platform, doing nothing. So we just kill our time and energy by doing this way. And hardly ever we feel contented, we feel peaceful, we feel harmonious, we feel contributing. And that also creates a huge amount of reactionary behavior. Huge amount. We react to everything. It has to always fit into our excitement. If it doesn't have excitement, no, I cannot be there. I cannot be happy there. So with all the richness, with all the knowledge, wisdom, all these modern gadgets and technology, we are still as miserable as we are before, when there was no technology also. There was very hardly any knowledge. So knowledge, in a way, is because knowledge is never lived, always borrowed or copied. So it doesn't take us far within us. We lose contact within ourselves, the inner being. We also lose contact with the nature. We lose contact with the society. So what we are? We are somewhat like an how do you say, like a drop of oil in the water. We feel like a part of the water, but the quality and content of us is not matching to the rest of the society. And same thing happening to the other one. So we are floating like a drop of oil in the water, everybody. Although there is a social harmony, maybe there is socially nothing much happening, but inside us we are all unstable. We live a kind of anarchy in us. We live a life of dissatisfaction constantly. And we also learn, before people used to even complain, nowadays nobody wants to complain. They hide it inside. And they become like an explosion inside. One little bad feeling, one horrible feeling, this thing, small, get together, they become kind of big bomb. They explode us inside us. Then we do many, unwanted things. Because we hide them a lot. Why we hide? Because we know if I say to Daniel or to Julie or to somebody, she will not listen, he will not listen. He will not share with me. She will not really feel for it. And we know it because our parents didn't do that way. Our family members never came really close to us. So that's how it works. Sometimes you'll find in a family, if there's two boys, these two boys never really grew up with other girls much in the vicinity. Maybe they have seen somebody in the classroom, they have seen some other girls in a kindergarten, but where is a organized system, they have to participate like a military way. So they don't know how to interact with another human being called woman or girl or whatever, or boy, whatever. That's also the big distance. So all this arises from one point, providing the fullest possible freedom to the child to grow on its own, allowing him or her to have maximum opportunity to develop his or her own capacities or talents, and through her own spontaneity, not by imposed by us all the time. We can only suppose she wants to learn how to farm. We can help her. But we don't impose on them too much. So if you go on imposing, we'll create a manufactured society as we already did in the future. So a society will no more be called a society, it will be called industrial product. A human society will be nothing more than an industrial product. For example, now because of the internet, everybody hears the same music, everybody knows the same thing, and when you go to talk, there is no new thing coming. Everybody talks about the same thing. Suppose you were talking about the weather, for example, I was saying, it's very prosaic, very stoic. Today there will be lots of rain in afternoon. And yes, I know, there will be lots of, as if everybody studied the weather, they understood everything. No, they just heard from the system, from the media. So media is also, killing our spirit, our creativity, our energy. They destroy a lot. But we feel they're contributing to us. That's why we hear them. We like to hear TV or, we go to internet because we think they're contributing. Because what they're contributing is that the ideas are written there or visible there. But we ourselves, like me and you or Daniel or Julie, we never lived that idea. So, for example, somebody says in the market there's a beautiful Alfonso mango coming from India. So we go to buy. But how many of us really know what mango tree is? How many of us really lived how to make a mango? So when the people in the market are bringing all this horrible mango grown with all this pesticide and all difficult, genetically modified products, we have no problem. Because we never lived the organic way. We never lived real exposure to the life. So that also creates a huge distance from everything. Like suppose you buy a car. The car is a car technology belongs to a company, and everything belongs to company. You just buy, and what right you have on the car is to use it. You have no right over the technology. Similarly, all this knowledge we get, actually this should be called information, is not cooked with us. We never lived it. We just use it. So that also, to many extent, makes us very, how to say, how can I say, prosaic. We don't flow with it. We don't really feel it. It doesn't inspire us a long time because it's not our discovery. We didn't put enough heart energy to find it. We just got it. And because we got it, we don't have value for it. Real sense. Okay, give some money or time, that's fine. And then what happens, whatever we get out of that, it doesn't inspire us a long time also. Suppose you buy a new car, maybe a few days, you are fascinated by it and you feel good, whatever, after some time, oh yeah, there's a car. And because the same way, what happens is, because depending on this technology so much, just look at an adult who is working or a child. The child is going in the car, he is sitting in a box, tied around, right? Then what happens? You take him to the school. He gets in the schoolroom. Sometimes he has some time to play or whatever. Then he comes back. He gets into the car, gets into the house. That's the life. He has no spontaneous exposure to anything in the society or to the nature. Everything is organized before. So, and same thing, now he eats rice, for example, or wheat. Large number of children don't know how a rice is grown. No idea. They eat it every day. They eat the lentils every day. They don't know they eat meat or fish. They don't know how the meat and fish is coming to them. Because parents never gave that opportunity to the baby, to the child. Child never know what is exploration. Child know how to adapt. And that adaptation also doesn't work in the different situations all the time. Because at the same time, parents gave him lots of isolation. Because he's isolated, he doesn't put lots of interest to explore something. Rather, he wants to just escape and look for some excitement, some entertainment, some gratification, some kind of stimuli situation all the time. And that makes them more unhappy. And when children are unhappy, what do you expect in the society? Our society is bound to be violent, bound to be suffering. So in directly or indirectly, we are imposing suffering on our babies and children. So that's a huge responsibility lies with the mother, with the father, with the grandparents, with the cousins, with the friends, with the rest of the family. Every friend has a responsibility when there's a baby around. How to behave, how to make him more genuine, how to make him more sensitive, how to make him compassionate, how to make him, feel love for everybody, not only for him. How to share, how to care, how to be focused, how to be, all these human things are extremely important. Because if you don't give these things, the boy or the child will simply learn how to survive through money. Money is life. Give money, buy something. Consume and finish. Consume and finish. Get money, consume. Get money, consume. So use and throw become the pattern of life. So that's why when they get into one friend, after a few days they are not happy with that friend anymore. They get into a man or woman and they, I love you. So after a few days or a few months, they don't like each other. And we see every day these things, and we don't never care for it. It's an urgent thing to look how we can take the real spontaneous creative care of the babies, where they develop their creativity, their talent, their exposure. They fall, they break, they cry. They have to cry fully. They have to laugh fully. I live that life. You have to cry like anything. You have to say what you want to say. You should not be given a suppositor to, fall asleep. They have to do all these things. And nobody should try to educate them too early, which is always happening. Because parents are nervous, don't know how to deal with that, they don't know how to share their love and warmth. So they always give them something. If they don't find anything, they put them in toy or a TV or whatever, and then try to make them wise boy or wise girl. You have to learn this, you have to learn that, this, so that. So child mind very quickly became an adult mind. And then he loses all that precious moments of childhood, which is very extremely important for us. Otherwise, our society will continue to suffer. We are not only suffering now, in this generation, we are also, packaging suffering for the future in the form of denying the children to live their own life. We deny all the time. Okay?
Okay.
I don't know.